So, yesterday, or so I heard, the world lost one of its probably most precious human beings that I could ever think of. Nelson Mandela. A little bit of background on Nelson Mandela for those who don't know who he is, which, if you don't know who he is, like, I don't know what kind of rock you're living under, but it's an awful rock that you're living under. Uh, he was I don't want to say a freedom fighter, but he was like more of like a civil disobedient in South Africa. Uh, in the time where he was like my age, which was like maybe the 40s, 30s, and 40s, there was a lot of racism, a lot of stuff going on in South Africa. Pretty much during his time, during in his prime, it was nearly legal to kill a black person in South Africa. Like, it was ridiculous, and he changed all that by just being civil disobedient. Civilly disobedient, which means it's not like a violent protest or anything like that. He just kind of he would like just kind of stand in front of, like, civil disobedience is what they do in like Tiananmen Square, or what Gandhi used to do, where you just kind of like bother people and like and picket at the same time. Like, he like started doing that. He actually spent a good quarter century in prison because of what he was doing, and he never decided to get out. And then when he got out, I think he became like vice president or president of a few countries in South Africa. Nelson Mandela is a very important person to me. His exploits and the things he did. Although I have a very general knowledge of it, I do get the basic idea that if you don't stand for something, you'll fall for anything. If you don't stand for something, if you don't, like, you gotta you gotta believe in what you believe in, and hold your beliefs and values so dear to that you will not change them for anything. And Mandela did that when he was in prison. I mean, there were a lot of times where he could have been like, all right, I mean, my mom said it best. Like, he could have been just like another person who got out of jail. You know what I mean? He could have done that. He could have been like, all right, well, now I'm going to lead a life of crime, that kind of stuff, and fight violently against the oppression of apartheid in South Africa, like everyone else who did that and failed. By the way, I do know that much. But no, he decided to be civilly disobedient. And it's such a loss. I mean, it's funny because Paul Walker died, and everyone's like all like crazy about Paul Walker, but someone boring like Nelson Mandela. I mean, who cares, right? No, he's not Paul Walker. I mean, nothing against Paul Walker and nothing against the acting skills he had. I don't really care about the Fast and Furious movies, but I understand he influenced a lot of people and whatever, and that's fine. But I think that Nelson Mandela has a much stronger and more positive influence on anybody who feels like they're being suppressed by people, and they feel like can't catch a break and stuff like that. Or even people who want to be activists. I mean, there's a lot of what I call slacktivism, what is called slacktivism on Facebook, where it's kind of like, it's just like type. Remember the equal signs that they used to have on Facebook, saying how people like support equal marriage and stuff like that. A gay marriage and stuff like that. That's all good and fine, but like, you shouldn't call yourself an activist. Make this kind of sacrifices that Nelson Mandela made, then you can call yourself an activist. Me, I can't do that. I can't make those sacrifices. I'm man enough to admit that. I'm also man enough to admit that I'm not an activist at all. The status quo works fine for me, and when it doesn't, I might stand up and I might fight for what I think is right. But until then, I see no formal reason to rebel against things. And I think people use the whole rebellion and the whole, oh, let's fight the system. And especially the people who say that they have to fight the system by becoming part of it. Did Nelson Mandela really do that? Come on. Like, he really could have, but he didn't. And then when he did, well, people already knew who he was, and they already saw him as a very good leader, and they already saw that apartheid was really bad and everything like that, so it didn't matter at that point. So, my thing is also, man, I mean, you don't have to, like, when people compare their successes, you don't need to perform all the accomplishments of someone like Nelson Mandela to really be happy. I really don't think so. I'm happy with just putting a smile on someone's face every day. Whether it's making videos like this, or doing some really weird stuff at bowling league, or like making a girl laugh at my job, or if I go out and make a girl laugh, and flirt with her and stuff like that. That kind of stuff brings me pleasure, it brings them pleasure, and that's what we should be focusing on. So, yeah. Rest in peace, Nelson Mandela. You will be missed. I don't know who else is gonna die this year. It's crazy. But anyways, yeah, I just wanted to make a little video of my thoughts on it. So I'm gonna sign out of here. I'm gonna do another video actually right after this, so you'll like it. So, alright, I'm out. Peace.